It's Christmas.
Season's greetings. I'm Nikilia Hutchinson and I'm here to tell you how we Bajans celebrate Christmas. But I can't just tell you in one sentence because so many things make up the Christmas experience here, like food and music, shopping and cleaning, and of course going to church and a little bit of dressing up. These all make our Bajan Christmas extra special. Now you know you can't have Christmas without Christmas music. After all, it's the music that gets us all into a special Bajan Christmas kind of mood. What's more invigorating than the indigenous sounds of the Tuk Band?
The music evolved around 1688 after a ban on the playing of African drums. It was thought it would cause rebellion. Enslaved persons decided to get creative and use what was available to them here in Barbados.
Each group sort of created a different entity in terms of the combination of European and African music. So throughout the Caribbean there are several entities like ours, but they don't call it Tuk Band music. They have other names. The combinations are different. Basically we use a flute, a kettle, and a bass, a triangle, maybe a cowbell. There are other islands that use, for example, the one-string bass, or the accordion, or the side flute, and different other stuff. So in Barbados, what we use here is indigenous simply because no other Caribbean island will play the type of rhythm pattern that we play here.
Tuk music is particularly heard at Christmas time, striking up all the Yuletide favorites and oftentimes accompanying some of the more colorful Barbadian folkloric characters.
As the sociology of Tuk goes, Tuk Band music after emancipation became an important part of the society's entertainment. You would find a Tuk Band at every festival, on every bank holiday. They would go through the village, they would play and they would get money, or they would get rum, or anything that is offered to them. So Christmas time was one of the most, and still is, one of the most important times of the year where you would expect to hear a Tuk Band outside your door from time to time.
Barbadians not only enjoy the music of the traditional Tuk Band at this time, there are other songs and entertainers that they like to hear from during the season. We paid a visit to Love FM's radio announcer Lisa Bailey, who gave us some insight into the kind of music Bajans like to hear during the festive season.
Bajans just love Christmas music. That's the honest truth. I must admit that I thought I wasn't a fan of Christmas music until I started working in radio, because it brings so much joy to people. So you enjoy bringing joy to people by playing the music they love. What's playing right now? RPB, Maisie. Oh, that's a big one. They love their local music, and you have to. I'm sure the phone is going to start ringing, because once you play RPB, then you have to play all the mad songs for Christmas, and then there are lots of others, the Trini ones, the Parang. Oh, they love those. But it's so wide and varied, because then they still like the Nat King Coles, the Gene Kelly. Everybody needs some Luther in their Christmas. So there's so many, I really can't name them all. And then Kenny and Dolly, oh, you have to play those.
A Bajan Christmas for me is family, being able to sit and enjoy the entire day. Well, for me it's not the entire day. I usually check in with them about 1 o'clock because they know I'm working all morning. Being able to supply clients with that entertainment, the musical aspect of it, the idea of exchanging gifts, seeing family maybe that you haven't seen for a very long time, and of course you have your pork and your turkey and your rice and peas, your jug and your punch of cream, and anything else that makes Christmas in Barbados really exciting.
Okay, so music is clearly part of a Bajan Christmas. But you know what's even more important? The food.
To find out more about the Bajan Christmas food extravaganza, we gladly went to the Barbados Community College Hospitality Institute's training facility at Palm Marine in Hastings, Christchurch. During a busy Christmas lunch rush, Ms. Hart explains the finer details of a Bajan meal I must warn you, don't watch this section if you're hungry.
A Barbadian Christmas meal is what we just asked. A Barbadian Christmas meal. A Barbadian Christmas meal goes way back. And this is a long time ago when peasants and, as I say, people in Barbados concentrate on their local produce, their local foods. And they have came up with very, very good ways. You know, we have the local cuisine, and we're talking like ham, which came in the late 50s, and it used to be the tar skin, as we all know, and that was because there was not a fridge ice at the time, and people would use that tar ham because the tar would be a protection for the ham, those who could afford to buy it. People would have their sorrel, and there would be lots of sorrel all around the countryside, along with green peas. And people would take their sorrel, they would cut it off, and they would put it in Jimmy John, put it in the sun, and add a spice and clove and all those things. And then you will have sorrel at Christmas. We go back to the more fortunate people who could afford things like pepper pot. Pepper pot used to be all the leftover meat, pig foot, cow heel, cow face, you know, all the parts of the meat that were hard, that were hardy, and that could take a lot of cooking, and they would add calf's rib and they will have their pepper pot. As I say, that was for the most fortunate. The other people then they will have jug, and this was because a lot of green peas, pigeon peas was in abundance, or used to be in abundance, and they would get their pigeon peas and their guinea corn, which would grow in St. Philip, all around Vale, and those other parts of St. Philip, Ruby and all those parts. And these people would offer this, you know, the vendors, the hawkers as we would call them, would offer this for sale. And this, along with the green peas that used to grow along the hedgerows, you know, that would be a big thing, jug. And you would also have salt meat. Salt beef was a big thing again with local people. And they would put the green peas and the salt meat or salt beef, and they would have lots and lots of green peas and beans and bonavis shell, and they put together this dish. I don't know how it originated, but I know it was something that came way back from the days, you know, the post-slave time. So they would put the peas and the meat, and they would cook it together with all lots of seasoning and spices, and then they would add the guinea corn, and they would stir it and cook it slowly, and the name chuk chuk come because of the chuk chuk sound that it gives when it is ready. So we go back again to things like cassava corn, sweet bread, pudding. We go back to drinks like sorrel and ginger beer, not forgetting, if you can afford a piece of baked pork, beef stew and rice. Again, you will have green peas and rice. I mean, there used to be more peas at that time than rice. So that food would stay on the stove or on the cupboard on the larder for 2 or 3 days. And I don't know, for some reason it never used to go bad. And you will eat and fry rice, and you will have fried pork that left over from maybe Christmas. And then you will have a little bit of, at that time it was Martin Dolly red wine, a little bit of falernum, and there would always be something in the larder or on the table to eat and drink. That's a traditional Barbadian Christmas.
I can taste it now. The sorrel, the jug, the macaroni pie, the ham, but I'm sure you understand. And I can assure you, if you've ever had a Bajan Christmas dinner, it's something you would never forget.
The Barbadian Christmas special to me is that I never have deviated from the Christmas that I know. So all my Christmases are special. But one good thing I do is, from as long as 40 years, I still make my ham the way that my father used to make it. All around September, October, I will get my pork, and I will put spice and clove and salt and sugar and bay leaves, and I will wrap it in banana shag. I will wrap it in a crocus bag, and I will hang it up in the house. And I remember 2 things. I remember my father, the days we had, and I also would remember that I don't want that taste that I had over the years to pass. So when I bake that ham, I will eat and eat and eat, and that's what makes my Christmas different.
In Barbados, the birth of Jesus is celebrated in churches all across the island. There are Christmas pageants, chorale concerts, and many people give to the less fortunate. On Christmas Eve, most churches have a service with seasonal hymns and a reading of the biblical story of Jesus' birth. Early Christmas morning, many Barbadians dress in their best attire and attend an early morning Christmas service, followed by a stroll in Queen's Park.
Christ is the birth of Jesus Christ, and that's what's important to me and my family. We go to church early in the morning. 6 o'clock we'll be at church on Christmas morning, but that's nice because then you get to come home and you cook together, and that's what a Bajan Christmas is for me.
Every Bajan knows that Christmas shouldn't come and find your house dirty. Everything must be in order and completely spick and span.
Cupboards are cleaned, floors are scrubbed, windows are wiped, walls are painted, furniture is polished, and new curtains are hung. In years gone by, people would actually take everything out of the house to clean it. Sometimes you might even see chair cushions left out to sun. Along with the big clean is everyone's favorite, or maybe not so favorite, activity: Christmas shopping. Barbadians are found anywhere there's a store checking off to-do and to-buy for lists. At the Sheraton Centre, entertainment is provided for customers, adding to the whole experience.
As a child, it meant that around this time of year, the whole house would be picked down. And my mother was a pretty good seamstress also. She used to make the most beautiful curtains and cushion covers and, you know, throw pillows and stuff like that around this time of year. Also, the baking had to go on. It meant a lot of hard work because then I had to grate a lot of coconut and mix a lot of cake mix and, you know, do a lot of things, man. A lot of work was involved. Invariably, as a child, it meant my father would burn the black cake. That was tradition. Unless my father burned the black cake, you know, it wasn't Christmas. And you cut that burn off and you're left with some beautiful black cake underneath. As an adult, it means more. I spend more time with my family. I no longer pick down the house or anything, and my wife isn't like that either. But we do make sure that we have those accents around the home that make it feel warm and friendly, as though if Joseph and Mary were going to pass by, we would have room for them at the inn.
So the secret's out. We love lights, yet another layer to our beautiful Bajan Christmas canvas. Starting from the November 1st lighting ceremony, the nation is illuminated. The private and public sector come together to decorate roundabouts, and these lights last until the new year.
I think the response to the lighting, in particular the roundabouts in Barbados around not only Independence, Christmas and New Year's time, is a very good response. Well, we see a lot of different roundabouts are decorated in different ways that represent different things from probably from our culture or from business. So I think that personally would actually look at different roundabouts and compare them to other roundabouts to see which one is better. And I think that tourists also like to see the roundabouts being lit as well, because it is a new experience to them, and it really brings a part of our Christmas and celebration, our culture, out to persons as well.
A Barbadian Christmas means to me basically decorating my house, making sure it's well kept, all of the foods, the ham, the drinks, such as like tiger malt and all of that, and then the whole aspect of having the family and friends coming over and reuniting with them, because you know you probably haven't seen them for the year. So basically the reunitement of that family spirit within the household. Also the birth of Jesus Christ in terms of celebrating that is the Barbadian Christmas for me, and getting gifts and also giving gifts to persons, to see an actual smile on a person's face when they actually give a gift. I more like to give a gift than receive a gift, because that whole smile and love that you get just from seeing that person having that gift in their hands and actually licking that gift, that for me is my Barbadian Christmas.
We started this program with the question, what is a Bajan Christmas? And we discovered that it's many things, like food and shopping and church and lights. But there are also a lot of things that we weren't able to cover that all make up a wonderful Bajan Christmas. For me, a Bajan Christmas is simply good food, good company, giving thanks for the blessings received in this year and hopeful for the blessings in the year to come.